Good morning, aviators. This is your captain speaking.
Morning to the morning show.
Yeah. There is a line from Top Gun
Really?
Maverick,
Okay.
which will be out soon. It's actually on the trailer.
Yeah,
It'll be
assuming
out.
it's
It's
still
actually out.
finding people to watch.
Yeah, I'm watching with two.
And Nagi.
Yeah, and
And they bought
husband.
an extra ticket.
Yeah, so they got one extra ticket. I do not know whether I can find Kaki. Let's see tomorrow how. So let's talk about event. We have nothing happening. So
There's
yeah,
no go monthly, sorry.
yes.
I
Did you stop?
hopefully the work can be stabilized around June and we can do.
One can hope.
Yep.
One can hope.
There's a lot of backlog from the what's got disturbed during the 2020.
Yep. It
So
happens. It
all the backlogs
happens.
they
I
piled
think
up,
that.
and you know the problem with this deadline stuff is not really about deadlines. It's about all of them have come together, so it
Yes.
become
So it's the
Precisely.
volume. It's not
yeah.
the what they call
It's not
this. Yeah,
yeah.
the closeness of the deadline. It's the volume at the same day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. It
And our
happens.
flow rate is only that much.
So, and I have my own problem as well, but I'm going to keep it in the general, generic way without, I mean, without going too much detail. Because in the startup scene, there's worry about downturn. Y Combinator already announced that this year will not be a great one because of interest rate high, inflation, and all that in the US. So as a result, uh, a lot of startup because from advice from Y Combinator also take a more careful stance on technology on their business. So it's not just technology, but
I have
every
actually a curious question. What would consider one a startup? I
okay.
would
In
say a
this
lot of the
way,
companies are no longer startup. I mean, out there lah, not really. Not
yeah,
really.
I'm going to say this lah. The important thing for this is anyone that listen to Y Combinator. Okay, so in this case, there are the tech startup people that follows Y Combinator advice. So I consider them, and they got a lot of those around. So as a result, for me, I begin to help the company to save money on infrastructure. As it turns out, Amazon is very Byzantine when it comes to infrastructure as well. We will talk about more about that later because a lot of this is work, but I need to generate it. So let's start with news. First one. Okay, this is a quick one. Timeshift. This is actually a system restore tool for Linux. It works two-way by using hard links and async, and no, or using PTR FS snapshots. So yeah, so the snapshot can be restored by using a system using a live USB or live CD. So in a way, it's very similar to Linux. So yeah, I think it's cool. And what is hard link? You may say hard link is a directory entry that associate many with the file, blah blah. So each one has one hard link and all that. So in short, this is actually a more full-blown uh, system restore solution, backup and restore solution for Linux, similar to what is available on Windows or even Mac, I believe. I do not know. I did not use Mac enough to know for sure. What do you think? If I will move on quickly.
Yeah, let's move on.
So this is potentially good news. I do not know how this makes feeling, but when there's data center comes
It's
here,
a
it usually means
it's
incentives.
actually a
So
good news because it coincide with the mandate. I mean, opening up the option for government services to use cloud.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And good news for us developers because we had a closer place to develop our application. And unfortunately, not all of us is lucky in a way that uh, those that actually work in a more traditional business would prefer data to store locally. By having a data center, web services, data centers setting up in this country, it allows us, more traditional organization, to adopt cloud more easily. So previously, the only solution that actually do this is Ali Cloud. Then recently is Azure, but I do not know how far Azure goes. It's the same for AWS. I do not know how far it goes, but potentially if they do it fully, it means the data can be stored here, and more of the more traditional business will adopt it and adopt this. And yeah, it's an opportunity to more people. So it's a good thing in a big way. But usually also, but when they do come here, the government have to really entice Amazon to come, because we don't have the biggest population, we don't have the best infrastructure, among many things. So Indonesia is easy for Amazon because there is a lot of businesses that start in Indonesia can easily reach another.
We forget something about like Singapore also, like I think also like related to the geopolitics side of Asian Pacific.
Correct.
Like I remember the APEC region used to be distributed between Hong Kong and Singapore
Correct.
when
Because
we choose
Singapore,
data center. Yeah. And these
correct,
days
because
it's just Singapore. Yeah.
yeah. So it's Hong Kong because of China and all that. Let's not go there. I have my own strong opinion, but let's not go there. Singapore is because they already invest a long time
It's
ago.
just it was another discussion recently that reminds me of that. Used to be when we choose, I mean, for not just on data center, like also like cloud services and stuff, even on gaming service that we used to be able to pick Hong Kong as the APEC. So.
Correct. So yeah, so it means that the government had to put a lot of things for people for them to come. So yeah, I'm going to move on. WhatsApp ran up revenue with cloud API and paid tier for the business app. So yeah, more money making for WhatsApp, which makes sense because they're used for business for a long time, but monetization for this software is always a problem. So which is why some software they decide to make money upfront, which makes sense. So yeah, anything to add? If not, we'll move on as well.
No.
A new, yet another Go book. This is Go from beginning. I did not have it. It's recommended by another Firdaus.
How many Firdaus do you need?
Actually, I only know two, Firdaus Halim and Kage. So Kage is Isa Firdaus. Yeah, long story. So yet another book. Looks good. The content looks good. A bit more practical because we mostly build web application and console app. I need to actually read for it, but you can get it for free. So yeah, but I'll give some money as a reward just because. This one, fantastic open security tools and where to find them. So this is a list of security tools by OWASP and also SANS Institute. This is a well-known organization. I suggest that look through it. It's useful. Because take security more seriously. Your organization may not able to hire pen tester for financial reason because they can be expensive, but you can start. You can start by scanning the application. The tools exist. So these links here contain the source for it. So yes. Next one, security tools. And also a lot of these tools are open source, so yeah, there's no reason to not use it. But the only danger here is a little knowledge is very dangerous. So use it as a start, but chances is you will need some professional help to go deeper. I'm going to move on again. This is exciting among the tech community because we had a new Ryzen 7000. 16 core Zen 4 with PCI.
Let's see how it goes first, because the rumor is that it now requires a chipset, right?
Yeah, correct. So new chip, but yeah, AMD had been on the road for the past few years. Things might be
And they're gonna
interesting.
change it to the what do you call it again? The not pin version anymore, right?
LGA, it becomes LGA.
LG.
Yeah, because for a long time AMD, the LGA lasts for a long time, so it's time for another refresh, lor.
You know, I just bought a Zen 4 processor on the
Yep.
weekend,
Yep.
and one of the things that the salesperson warned me, he kept warning me like, watch out for the pin.
Yes.
And he actually kind enough to help me carry I bought a new case as well to the front of the shop, and before he left, he warned me again about the pin.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think probably a lot of people mess it up.
Yeah. What's wrong with the pin? Is it the pin number or is it the pin?
No, when you insert the processor.
Okay, so it's pretty fragile.
No, because
Well-
LGA is there's no pin on the surface of the processor, but AMD uses I don't know what it's called, where the pins are sticking out.
Pin grid array, it's PGA.
So
okay.
so if you try to insert it, it actually won't go in. But some people, they're afraid that if it doesn't, because there's one that doesn't fit, but
Yeah.
some people might force it in and break the pins.
Okay. So okay.
But it was funny, like he kept warning me about it.
Right. So as usual, that comes with this is not as usual, but they are graphics, integrated graphics on it and all that. It's not the first one, but for example, my laptop, older Ryzen, but they had on board. They had a Radeon on chip. So yeah, it's not exactly new, but something more powerful, which is more interesting because it made this CPU more affordable. So you may not have the most powerful. You won't make the most powerful gaming set just on this, but you have enough for you to start for games. In fact, nowadays games do not need that much power. So as I discovered recently, Jurassic Park Evolution 2, the very new one, that's last year.
The reason why I changed
Uh-huh.
upgrade the PC was because the whole thing were disintegrating materially.
Right.
What is
you really have no
disintegrating again?
choice.
Sorry.
I upgraded the processor, of course, the motherboard and the RAM and the case only. So I moved over the Haswell i7. The problem is that the motherboard is starting to have disintegrating. The power delivery, everything was messed up. So and sometimes like you crash because the power is not stable. Another issue is that it's the liquid cooling, the closed circuit liquid cooling for the processor, even though it lasted for how many years? 8 to 9 years already, it started to not functioning, so the processor can get hot and it throttles itself.
Right. It's around that time.
Yeah, and when I asked whether there was whether the shop carries, it's not even a small shop. I asked them whether they carry LGA 1150. He looked at me like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So that was LGA 1150, the old processor.
Okay. But either way,
I plan to buy. I think if given, I busted budget, definitely busted my budget for the quarter actually. But thinking about getting a mini ITX and fit it and use it as a home server should be powerful enough.
Let's see, but my computer is still survive. I hope it can do more stuff. It should last for a while. But I think one of these days, NVIDIA will stop releasing driver for my graphic cards. It's a 1060. It's a
1060 is fine. I'm using a 1070.
Yeah.
I'm using a 1070 Ti.
Yeah.
So it's not really a AAA gamer, but it's sufficient
Good
for
enough.
me to run most that I need at a high quality setting.
Yeah, in fact, I noticed that most of the game still had 1060 at each as a standard, as a supported, as the supported hardware.
It's not gonna be enough when people are trying to run over 1080p
Yeah, correct.
and also more than 60 FPS.
Yeah, correct. But I'm not a pixel
Yeah,
chaser.
it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
And the price of GPU are still, even though it's cheaper now, it's still not okay for me.
Correct. Okay, so next one, yet another embedded Python engine. This one will run on 4K and 32 KB flash. So this will be smaller than MicroPython. It's actually compiled, so that at runtime they will compile it into I believe it compiled now. I think somewhat compiled now. So yeah, it's a good thing to have more support. I think Python is a bit, I would say it's a bit big, but if can it work, then yeah, I would try. I would really try that.
Something I want to share later on related to that also.
Okay. Next one.
Not
This is
really, but with the Pi.
okay.
Not a good thing.
This one, I really need it. So in Amazon Foundation Tab Review, we do not need this, but there is actually emphasis of knowing privacy, which information is considered PII, personally identifiable information.
And one of the things is that sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
one of the change of patterns that we used to be treating data as, I mean, either by layers.
Yep.
Or soft delete, right? Like deleted add
Correct.
or is deleted, right? But
Correct.
like the one of the things that requires by regulation, like GDPR, is that you need to do hard delete, which
Correct.
Which we have to go back to doing that, and while not affecting the existing customers or the
Correct,
users.
which is very hard. But this one is more of things like HIPAA. So in HIPAA, in the stream environment, even though it's a bit vague, which is why you got different. Sort of the implementation is a bit vague, which is why you got different level of implementation that is acceptable. One of the things that people do on a strict environment is you do not get name. So for example, this example that's implemented by this anonymizer, last name. Last name is considered it is obviously considered as a personally identified information. So notice that they set up security label and will return with fake last name. So this is actually one way to show this kind of information without breaking the law in this case. So which is why I'm interested in this, but this assumes that you run your own PostgreSQL instance, because the extensions is supporting PostgreSQL 9.6, which is stable-ish version. So we got newer PostgreSQL now.
Yeah, I actually tried to use it once.
Yep.
Not store for my case, but that's it.
Yeah. It exists, and you should try it to see.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Is the reason why it wasn't. I need to explain it a bit. Is that it didn't fit because it was. I think it was when it was really early, and a lot of the things were not in there. And setting them out is not just this page. It was a lot more back then.
Yeah. So yeah, that's true. Okay, I need to look deeper, but yeah, probably you're right. Yeah, you see that you need. Yeah, you're right. It's not trivial, but
it's not trivial.
Yeah, it's not trivial, but if you
And,
really need it,
they added the kind of data that they fake. It's like a figure within Postgres also.
Correct. So yeah, but I'm looking at it. I do not need it now. Amazon Foundation Tab Review do not need it. But if you look at one of the requirement on the well architected framework, so they would suggest that do something like this if it requires it by compliance. So yeah. Reinvent is back. We can watch a video online, I believe, but to go there is this much. So unless company will pay you, they say, well, I can't go anyway because I don't have a visa. So, but you will get some of the things shared. So yeah. And interesting because a lot of people use AWS, which I don't really like, but it is what it is. Okay, this one is
we are moving towards AWS as well.
huh?
Yeah, we're moving towards AWS as well
Yeah.
because of the go ahead from the government as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the data center thing, right?
It might be one way to
It's
another.
actually a sigh of relief from our side because
Mhm.
we had to maintain all this private cloud and stuff. We
Yeah.
have to reinvent a lot of those services that were not around.
Correct. So let's move on. This also quickly go through because so the U.S. Army in the 1940s, so they actually released resources for free because it's strategic for the Army. For kids, chances is it's fifth grade education. With fifth grade education, so this is fifth grade education is year 5, year 5, year 6 or so in our system. So to teach electronic. So we're talking about introducing radios and all that, how radio work. So I find this interesting because they consider teaching kids technology and at that time cutting edge technology as strategic, right?
Yeah.
As strategic because whether they're beginning go Cold War and this is
because I think it's a wartime and they need the redundancy.
Correct.
Sorry.
So this tweet here is actually a series of video by the U.S. Army to teach this to people. Yeah, you see, it's for fighting against Nazis. So, but yeah, interesting story as well. But we'll list the next one, Foxhole Radio. This is actually crystal radio, so you don't have a lot of electronics. You can build it. Now, you can't use it nowadays because there's no AM radio. But
there are still some.
Yes.
Yeah, still some.
Really? I thought RTM closed all of those already.
Not really, because they just travel so far that you can still get them.
Yeah. Correct.
I don't know about now, but I used to grow up playing with radios. Radio fascinates me back then.
Yeah, this is very fascinating in a way that you don't need advanced electronics to make a radio. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the day before, well, not exactly encryption, but everything is analog, so you can just
not digital.
receive anything, and it's easy to replicate. Well, I guess it's the same as like not having encryption, right? So you can you can just receive anything.
Yeah, if you look at this wire, the whole this thing here.
I don't think radio. I mean, personal opinions. I don't think radio needs encryption.
Not encryption, but because it's digital, then it's some sort of like encoding, right? So you can't really do it like this and play it directly as analog. There's a stage afterwards.
And we are fortunate enough to have relay towers all around, right?
Correct. But this is interesting because look at this wire, toilet paper just to hold the wire, pin to hold the wire. Graphite very important. There is for tuning and razor blade. That's about it. And you still can make it if you can find the channel you want to listen.
But
this is just receiving though.
Yeah, this is only for receiving.
You can't transmit with this.
Yeah, but it's still fun. So yeah, anything to add? If not, move on. Okay, this is a quick one. Open. So the idea of this is essentially using OpenAI to actually build application, prompts in this case, prompt in the application. So you do not need to train your own transformer network. What you are using is you are using OpenAI API, which up to a level you need to pay, but to kickstart your project, it's okay actually. So this article from Hackaday shows what is possible with this. So yeah, including fine tuning, but so this is mostly just introducing what is available and what you can do with it. So yeah, I'm going. Anything to add? If not, move on.
Yep.
No.
I thought about this briefly last time, but I don't have time to work on this. Originally, I want to use this to generate our blog. But, Next one. This is also a quick one. Okay, so throw away the product name. If you want to build an image search engine,
What's wrong with the product name?
How would you build it? How would you build an image search engine? Idea? What?
No.
So
you do a redirect to Google reverse image.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say you want something that you can control. So what you do is you use a thing called Mirrors. Mirrors is actually a vector database. A vector is essentially two components of the numbers, which I showed last week on the voids implementation. But vector is also used in deep learning to represent pixels, text, especially. Word to vec is essentially word to vector. So converting the words into a vector will be usable by a deep neural network, right? So what this suggests is you can build. What this article posits is that you can use images and convert it into vector and build a search engine without using deep learning. So you have an image convert vectors, then you check for vector similarity. Arguably, this thing also have some AI on it, I believe. But vector is a map thing, so you can use it to search for things. Oops, jump too fast. So you can use a vector database and to build a search engine for your own use, in short. Which is a new idea to me actually. So yeah, what do you think? Too much blow your head, mind, and all that. So it's not deep learning in a way that you're not searching for context. You're looking at whether an image is similar by pixels.
Yeah, you still have to train them with the data. That's why you need
Correct.
super hand.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Which is why you need to.
We need probably later people will think that we are sponsored by Spot.
Yeah. Ivan Code asked me. I know a guy. So I know a guy in sales. I don't have the code the sales guys have yet. So you ask me, I'll put you the sales guys, which is they're cool. They're very cool. So either way, this is one way for you to build. Build a image search engine which you can actually use for your deep learning application. So then okay. So this is more for the data science people than most of us. Let's say you have data, you want to explore it on your Google on your iPad, Jupyter notebook. So this will provide you with a spreadsheet-like interface for you to do your exploratory data analysis. It's not free, as you can see. There's a plan. So you get the data exploration tool for free, but you get all the privacy, advanced feature, and all that. for Pro and above lah. So interesting. I don't see that much use because I do not work as an analyst with Python. So yeah, shall we move on?
Jason Kwa is saying notes page much helpful. Yes, so we have a notes page now uh, showing up. So if you want to see what swimming is showing up, the list is here.
Yep. Okay. Cool. I kind of lazy. Thanks. So last one, Symbian. It's
What's
so
happening to Symbian lately?
no. The Symbian Foundation already defunct, died a long time ago. But the good news is, before they die, they've released the source code is available. The source code is available on GitHub, so we can explore an operating system that is interesting at their time. Before Apple, before Android, this is their own operating system. They start Unix, they start Windows, and work on mobile. And unlike what most people would think, a Symbian-based operating system, and in a way, PAL already have integration with things like GPS and all the thing. The only thing they don't have is they have a very different view of user experience. This is one of the things that is why they fail, because if you like, even when Apple Android and Apple comes with a phone and Android with their phone, the UX comparatively is very dated. So that's the reason. So either way, the cool thing is the organization defunct in 2001, but they released the source code, the full source code. So talking about the bootloaders in C++, a Symbian is written in C++. So if you're interested in how another operating system works, you can study it. We can study it, and I think this is a good thing. So yeah, so the deep technical wise, they do quite a lot of things. In fact, the only thing that really sucks at is that they actually cater. One of the Symbian's goal is to build operating system for phone, but they do not consider uh, software distribution and whatnot. So, which is another thing that goes up. But you can use all sort of language for your Symbian application. But to get the SDK at that time, very in the
It's
early
the
2000s,
traditional model of requesting for SDK, submit paperwork, NDA, and all those things.
correct. So because the members are primarily traditional software phone companies, so yeah. But I like this because history. So just to learn how things work in those days. So yeah, in fact, I'm going to show you Symbian operating system. This is up to the early 2000s.
Yeah,
So
the Nokia's that were I had like Nokia graphical. The one with the round keypad. That
yeah,
was
correct.
that was interesting.
Yes,
I think that was like the beginnings of the selfie era because you had a 320 by 260 or something
yeah,
camera, and people were just like taking pictures. They're not sharing them via social networks because there's no such social network on the cell phone before. But
correct.
you can plug your phone into a computer and then email people after
Correct.
downloading the picture on your phone. So it
Correct.
was almost full fledged. Like you can do a lot of things, none of the modern conveniences, but it was useful. Symbian was a
Yes,
useful
correct.
operating system back
Yes.
then.
So I would say the only thing that really missed out is the social aspect, the software distribution aspect, and a very different focus. The
Yeah, but
UX is very
because that time we had like what GPRS, so it
correct.
was too slow to distribute software,
Yeah,
too
that
slow and too expensive.
correct. So yeah, uh, and also but they do have all the thing already. They have GPS and all that. Those things already exist. Some of the early GPS software maker do not just making in their own hardware. They also have software targeting those platforms. For example, the Qt framework is actually targets Symbian, which I find very, very interesting actually. So yeah, history, just yet another history. Next one is just another project, this time on IEEE Spectrum. This is actually a mechanical television. So with a 3D printer, and we can make the old type of television. The oldest television that I know of is actually the electron beam. So that is something like that. But this one would actually use a nickel disc. I'm going to show you. I'll try to search here. So essentially, for this to work, they actually use it to generate image and all that. So by spinning, then you get animation. So yes, mechanical television with so yeah, it's another television that is died now, but interesting technology that we forget about. Yes. Da, da, da. So yeah, you can build this on Arduino, and this shows the component. So the link is there. And finally, Perl 7. What the hell happened with Perl 7?
It's a continuity of Perl, the old Perl 5.5.
Yep. In short, nothing changed as much. Is there a big change on this?
Compatible with the old Perl.
Yep. And yeah, that's about it. And that's about it for DevKami. Yeah, that's corner.
Yeah, you can open the devkami.com link and then so that people can see how it looks like.
Yep, correct.
Episode 178.
Correct. So yeah, so what happened to you guys recently?
No, I don't. I wanted to work on the CTL, but I don't have time to do that.
Yes, I got distracted because so recently I attempted on the IBM quantum computing thing, but unfortunately the background material is the background material is too advanced for me, so I give up. So
but you can attempt all the exercises and you get to win something, right?
Not really. So exercise notebook. I want to show you what they have. So they use repeater notebook. Man, the server is not running. Can I run it? I think they closed it. I think it's there. In short, to get something basic. So the question they're targeting is a very research type of question. You have to build a type of quantum gate for some basic use. And to build a quantum gate, you need to understand why the behavior of quantum objects like that. The background information is too much for me. I mean, it's useful. I can see why it's useful, but it occurs to me that their beginner is master student that want to do research on quantum computing. Is that level of fundamentals are needed? So it's way beyond possible, but too much. So which is why I was attempting to work on this guy's well, but too many things.
What is that?
Oh,
can you show it again?
My whole set of cell and all that. So
yeah.
Yes, I got distracted, but yeah, because as you see last week, I spent too much time on the voids. So maybe I'm going to get something done because do you know that 6th of June is a public holiday? It's a Monday.
Is it?
Yeah. So I got another 3 days for me to work side projects. So which will be interesting. So I might work on this instead of quantum computers, which I will explore again later. But for even to know about quantum computers, which again I will share it. This is getting annoying. This is getting very annoying. I'm so sorry. Uh, it's it's relevant. I assure you, it's not porn. Uh, so, if anything, IBM Qiskit do attempt with basics. Okay, they got all the advanced stuff, but the things that's relevant to us as a software engineer is Qiskit Foundation. So this material is good in a way that they tell you how to
Play
code.
Pong.
No, yeah, they try to do Pong, but they ends up not showing that, interestingly. But they attempt to show you how the library works and how the behavior looks like. But the thing is, so for example, they show you how to install the kit on a simulator. So yeah, I suggest you to add that to the note as well. Qiskit Foundation do release a set of video that is useful for us to explore. It's just that the application is not very clear yet.
Qiskit is like how you program or supposed to program a quantum computer. It does not make a quantum computer for you.
No, it's okay. Think of it as an interface to
Yeah.
a quantum computer. So there
Which
will,
may or may not be a quantum computer.
yeah, it can be a
It is,
simulator, but
yeah.
this interface will target actual research computers, which are the one that shown in the video is the one that shown on the video is actually a research computer by IBM, of course, because this is funded by IBM as usual. So this video is very useful if you want to learn about quantum computing. All right. So I would recommend this one. But to set the expectation very low, do not expect application immediately. A lot of the use case are based on interesting physics problem. For example, the quantum bomb detector, which I find a bit cheeky, but that's what it is. Like it is what it is. So yeah, watch the video, then you decide. I won't change your mind any further. So, but there is a real good reason why I'm going to show you the next thing. There's a very good reason why quantum computers are scary. Shor's algorithm. This is the popular. Do you know what is a Shor's algorithm?
No idea. Industrious.
It's it's for primes, right?
Yeah. So so one of the things that Shor's algorithm does is is finding priming factors, and because what happened is a quantum computer is very good at finding periods, and prime number have periods. Then with quantum properties, you can actually guess the period.
It's more like not it's not the prime number that has the period. Is if you imagine the number as having vibrations and its factors are like yeah that like
Yeah, correct.
vibrations on it, you'll see that like factors they intersect each other on the same line. So it's
Correct.
like an imagination of that of uh, like having a period. It makes it like repeat itself, and then that's how you figure out the factors visually.
Correct.
You know those things,
Correct.
and that's generally what Shor's algorithm will do. It reimagines it as like some sort of vibrations with the period being its factors.
Correct. So this one, the explanation is easier, but the quantum physics part, this part, whoosh, way over my head. way over my head. So this is the explanation, the quantum part to do this. This is the one. So the idea is get it, but to actually prove these maths.
Oh, yeah, the proof
Yeah,
is complicated, but as
yeah.
usual, like the proof is just there for completeness. But you can always just use the technique without having to understand the proof.
So which is why these things are libraries. If you use Qiskit, it's actually a library to help you set out a lot of stuff. So you do not actually need to implement a lot of the steps here. The same way that you do not actually implement RSA, even though RSA as an algorithm is very simple, but you would use RSA as a library to use in your code and application. It's the same for source algorithm. This is actually already packaged as a library. So, but I want to show this because without the libraries, you want to understand how to implement in Qiskit. Without the background, might be it's pretty crazy to me, like, in my opinion. But that being said, I'm just a CS grad. Okay, I'm a I only study I only know very basic about quantum physics in the way that it's a wave function. Then you got the data slips and all that. So yeah, I can do code. I can do physics. Yeah. So yes, quantum computing is cool for this reason. So they're also good at what we call combinatoric problems. So you want to check for consistency of states. In this case, which is why it's often used in chemistry, drug detection, and whatnot. Uh, Interestingly, they do not use it to try to do n-body problem, which is for gravity. Actually, I do not know if they actually do that because if you can do that, they can have a very good simulation for Kerbal Space Program. So because those are gravities, yeah. So yeah, this is my misadventure on quantum computing. It's sure for us too low level, require a lot of
It's just not jump into it,
background
lah.
knowledge.
You have to do some studying first, lah.
Correct. But that being said, if you happens to have a physics degree and all that, it's probably
You
easier
sure?
for it's probably easier for you, right? So this is not computer science yet. And the way you think about it is, and the way they teach things right now is, imagine you learn programming from assembly only. So there is all the gates. These gates are equivalent of your. They're actually more similar to your processor operation. So imagine you teach programming by move. You have move, and you have add, you have sub as of this. Move this to this register. So you need to initial register, then all that. Yes, this is how computer works. But for application development, not very useful. You need to because you go to assembly to a full application, it's actually a long way. It's a very long way to that, right? But yet this is the state of quantum algorithm, the way they teach quantum computing right now. They'll tell you that you need to set up your quantum register, which is quantum state. Then you need to use Hyderabad gate and whatnot to transform your thing. Then you need to do measurement. The way they teach that right now is if you do not know what you're doing or do not know the implication for it, would be equivalent of a newbie. We teach a newbie how to program using assembly language. It's that level, too low level, and to make a complex application, yeah, you probably can make something very interesting, and certain things is easier to do on on assembly. But what newbie wants probably want to
But I
create.
learned assembly first,
Yeah,
so
but
I really do that as a newbie.
yeah,
So,
Well,
but jumping for
mhm.
assembly to rendering a HTML page is a very big jump, right? It's a very big jump.
well, rendering is not as complicated because Well, you
It's
need
not as
first
complicated because
you need a parser of the HTML, and then you have to work with a video out. Like that's a whole different thing. You
yeah,
have a lot of things in the middle.
yeah, but even with operating system support, but it'll be a big jump, which is why we have abstraction. Abstraction exists to make life easy for you to build application, and the abstraction only get better from assembly to higher level language to framework that looks at operating system to render using graphics library. Then then you use operating system to render certain thing to be read by another component on your system, right? So that's the abstraction we have as a software engineer. Quantum computer don't have that yet. They don't have that yet. But that being said, the abstraction is enough for them to do the I would call it the I would call it serious. It's not like our work is not serious, but I'm talking about chemistry simulation, drug detection, and all that. So this abstraction is useful for that kind of work, but not our kind of work. I would say that. So the same way that we
Oh,
used to be maths is useful to do calculation, but not very
oh,
useful to build a spreadsheet until much later.
you'll never know. Maybe someone might use quantum computing to do concurrency
Yeah, yeah,
somehow.
yes. That's the hope, but the abstraction is not there yet. People need to build the
Mm,
abstraction before we can do this kind of thing
yeah.
easily for us.
See, and then you can program a quantum computer via JavaScript
Correct.
because
So the point
JavaScript.
is the abstraction is not there yet. So it's the same way that we know that we can program a multi-core processor with assembly. But to be useful, you need the abstraction. To make it easy, you need the abstraction for you to build the concurrency, right? You need abstraction in processes, then you need operating system, all that. You need the thing to be regular. So for now, too hard for me. I'm hoping somebody will build the abstraction for us to do the thing. So that's my hope in the future. So yeah, that's my
Yep.
misadventure of home computers.
And after this, since you gave up, what will you do next?
No, I will still try to read up more about the background material and try to catch up on the field to see whether the abstraction is more readily available. Because the thing that already these the tools already goes into area that is a bit closer to us now. For example, quantum computers are very good for simulating neural networks because a neural network is actually a state, right? Yeah, somewhat. So it's very good for you can use quantum computers to simulate neural network. So in a way, you can have a reasonably more powerful deep learning network that make things better. So it's coming to us. So what I want for quantum computers, I'm still observing and hopefully to find some abstraction. But
Mhm.
my next thing on my next long holiday, which is on the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th June, will be hack this guy.
What is
So hack
this?
the, sorry, the
More the
Xiao.
Xiao.
Yeah, the Xiao. So I mostly hack on that one.
Yeah. The
And
Xiao already does it already contain like like the MicroPython or Circuit Python? Like, do you know
uh,
how
by the
to?
by default, no. But in fact, if you use the cell alone, right, you need to hotwire the pin to go into bootloader mode. But I bought a daughter board, so they got an extra button which I can trigger to go into bootloader mode for me to upload the CircuitPython
But
firmware.
yeah, but that's the daughter board, not for the BLE, right? That's for the other one,
Yeah.
sampling board.
The So for the BLE one, it's supported, but here's the big caveat. The big caveat is you can run CircuitPython on it, but those things do not have good wireless support because though I believe the reason is because the firmware is too big, but that is for this is for the ESP MicroPython in ESP32. So it's a very different story for that. So I need to find out for you the reason why they do not support it well. But I suspect it really could be just space, because CircuitPython is reasonably fat as a binary, so it could take up the RAM of Xiaola. So this is why which is why you want to do wireless, you better just use Arduino, which is supported, or if you're willing to go to much lower level, those obviously have much better support. But you also the abstraction is a bit more low level because they're targeting hardware engineers. But you get with Arduino and that, you get the radio support, meaning you can use that to do NFC, and you can do that to use that to do Bluetooth. So yeah, the radio support is very extensive. So which is one of the things that I would try lah. So the only thing that you need to do for the ad block detected, goddamn. The only thing you may need to do is you need a special antenna for NFC to work.
Okay, before we end, I have a complaint to make.
Yes, do that.
PyCam sucks.
PyCam
sucks.
What is PyCam?
PyCam, the camera module. I kind of thinking that it's can be good, but it suck.
What sucks? The result sucks, or the way you use
the resolution, the
so maybe it's your camera that sucks, not the library.
And also the wire is too short.
Also, PyCam is a product.
Yeah.
You mean this one, right? Which version?
The normal one. Yeah, this one.
Okay. Interesting. I know it's not great. I know
it's too short for me to make it useful.
Okay. So
and also the resolution is I think it's the only extra benefit that it offers is that compared to us using a USB cam, is that they are more control.
Yeah, that's the point of.
Yeah, but if you just need to capture image and stuff, it's cheaper and easier to don't trust the resolution don't trust the resolution, it suck.
Okay.
It's just the camera module is just you can see it's really small.
Right. That's the reason, right? Okay.
Yeah, so the resolution is a bit overblown to me.
Okay. Well, the resolution is like that, but the sensor is small, so like
given the condition that given the condition that is the light condition is good lah.
Yeah, if the light condition is good, then you have decent images. It's like a cell phone camera, right?
For my use case is the what do you call it? The ribbon. The ribbon is too short as well.
Correct.
So let me bring it up.
Yeah. So Tristan, you're right that this is the sensor that you use on older camera phone camera. It's not the newer one. I'm not even saying that this is on the. I'm not even comparing it with the top line camera. I'm talking about the average modern day.
No, I'm put it this way. This module is not cheap.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But this but this module
is this long only.
Yeah, I know. You really have to hang the whole pie.
I actually printed a case for it.
Yeah, this is like the first project you print when you have a iCam. Okay.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's too short, and also the rainbow is too not functional to me.
Yes, you need. For this to work, you need to hang it, stick it, and hang it.
I need to
with the
stick
pie
it with the
together.
case.
Yes,
Yeah.
you need to hang together with the pie, so
So
it will be
it's
what you need.
good. It's good when you build a Pi Zero a module that you can just hang somewhere else. But
Yeah.
for my use case for monitoring, it's not a good deal.
You want to monitor stuff, people actually, I mean, people do use this, but people also just use a webcam.
Yeah, just use the webcam. It might be cheaper. Like just buy a 20 ringgit one might be better.
Correct. And also,
Yeah,
this
that's
camera
my
module.
complaint of the week.
Yeah, this camera module is used on older phone. Newer phone have much better sensor nowadays. Even for the cheap phone, even for the cheap new phone, have better sensor than this guy. Better sensor than this guy. And I'm not even comparing this with my camera. My
And
actual camera.
it's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap precisely. So yeah, there is some of the newer one, but that's another story altogether. So with that said, thanks for listening.
What Tristan is trying to? Oh, I thought Tristan gonna bring up something.
No. I'm not
Yeah.
bringing up something.
So next week, what happened? I do not know. I have no.
We were supposed to talk about books, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought
Yes.
we were supposed to talk about books, but Swimming
I,
talked about quantum computing.
yeah. Sorry for dominating the topic. I will talk about book next week. You know what? We talk about books next week because I'm out of things to talk about. Actually, I'm out of things to talk about. Maybe I'll complain about AWS things again because I don't like AWS. It works.
I think it's this because people are. I think it's not the service. Often, like when we play, when we hate a product, it's the people that associate that use it wrongly. Same
Yeah,
goes
no,
framework, same goes anything. Yeah,
yeah, but it's
it's
also
associate
because
the collective experience lah.
yeah. There is a lot of reason for that. So with that said, I'm very sleepy because tomorrow I need to go to office again. So with that said, thanks for listening. Thanks for indulging us.
Bye.
So
See you next week.
yes. So I'm going to end in 5, 4, 3, 2.